Thank you, Victoria. Voting is extremely important. I'm watching a lot of the momentum on TV. I was dropping people off to the polls who needed them, and the the polls are filled up. It's going to be a late night for those poll workers tonight. I mean, I haven't seen it like this since Obama. So for those people who are voting, thank you, thank you. I am not worried about those people who are not voting. That's their issue. All I will say is that whatever it is, it is. And I'm just glad that people voted because, baby, if we would listen to some of these people, we would be in a world of trouble not voting. People don't know. Hold on for a minute, y'all. Let me say this. Let me say this, you all. I don't give a damn what people think. Voting is a right. People fought for it. It is a right. And I am not going to have anybody deny me because they've used uh, false information or misinformation. You have to vote your interest. People who are benefiting from the legislation are the main one who's hollering. And so I'm going to leave it right there. So make sure you all go vote. You know, I heard Stump Down say something, and and I'm calling a name today. First of all, I don't know you. You don't know me. I guess Stump Down is dealing with some Brown versus the Board of Education, but I heard some foolishness, and I usually stop it right then and there. And I said, let me come on over to my platform. First of all, I went to a integrated school. You know, Pizarro doesn't have any. See, okay, I'm gonna hold that with a pen. People, people aren't responsible. People aren't responsible, and I know the people who are over there listening to her. I hope they're scratching their heads saying, "What is wrong with you?" Because we know the power of the vote in Florida. In South Florida, nothing goes through the Cubans. Not because the Cubans were so great, it's because they knew the power of their vote. They put people in as mayor, they put people in as city councilmen. They knew how to stick together, and this is what they come up with. Whereas in Miami, we can be real disjointed in some of our communities. And I think this is where we have problems. But um, you know, that's her platform. But I hope you all really look at this stuff. It's a sign of miseducation, missed opportunities, and it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know if she does it for shock value or not. I voted. Vital lives. We believe in voting. Do not let anyone rob you of your interest. If you have a situation where you believe a woman has a right to choose what she does with her body, you better vote. If you don't want women to be Stepford wives and go back to where they had to get permission to vote and own property and business, y'all better stop listening to these people. Project 2025 is real, and I don't have anything personally against pizza because I don't know her personally, but I think her rhetoric is very harmful and dangerous, especially for disenfranchised and marginalized people. So thank you all. Thank you all for going to vote. There are people now who are at Temple University. They just did a whole expo, or not a segment rather, on the Baptist Church by Temple, where the students have to go. They have a line wrapped around the building, but those students are saying, you know what, we're getting ready to vote. You know what? But that's ignorance. That's ignorance, you all. That's ignorance. God said, what Caesar do to Caesar. What belongs to God belongs to God. Um, you know, I just, you all, when it comes to this kind of stuff, I just shake my head, and these are the type of people, yeah, I just think it's crazy. I just think it's absolutely crazy um, what people will say. And a lot of this stuff will adversely affect them if the wrong person gets in. My thing is, your one vote makes up a whole host of votes. And it's sad. It is sad. But thank God that there are some people who know the assignment, people who know how important the vote is. I'm not calling these people out by name. I'm not calling them derogatory names. I just think they're misguided in how this system works. You know, you got to have government. You have to vote. Laws are made because people vote. Something happens. You need a railroad crossing because you notice that things are dangerous. You call your congressman and your congress lady, and they petition that law. It's a bill, and then the bill becomes a law. It's a civics thing, you all. Sparkly, where I agree with you wholeheartedly. And Tastic T, I agree with you. You come for entertainment purposes, and I wouldn't take any advice from most people in the B sector, especially not something important like voting. I agree with you. I agree with you. All of these new voters, I agree with you. You all, some things are for entertainment, but some things I don't play with. I don't play with people's right to vote, and knowing the blood that was shed so we could cast a vote. Not only black people, but women were not allowed to vote. Poor people were not allowed to vote. At one point, it was all rich landowners. And that's why people know the importance of voting. If it were not important, like someone said earlier, they wouldn't be trying to set drop boxes on fire. They wouldn't be trying to make it difficult for people to vote, you know, and that's why we know it's important to vote. People trying to uh, confuse people, but voting is extremely important. We are we are a country that we can vote. Is the country 100% right? No. Are there things that need to be changed? Yes. But at the end of the day, we vote. Yeah, y'all, because this is sad. There's a thin line between entertainment, but when you have a platform like that, and the majority of your people are black, you have to be very careful. Sometimes we're our own worst enemies. We better start voting and stop playing. Hey, D Miss O, how you doing? I'm gonna drop the link in a few minutes, but let me say this. Um, First of all, integration played a major role. A lot of our schools were separate, but definitely not equal. I know the state. Some states wanted to keep us separated and not integrated in schools. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm telling you what, it was a jolt, it was a shock to the system. And I think Black people have paid, for being integrated so quickly into the school system. Not saying that it's wrong. Thank God, because, I can go to the colleges that I want to and all of that great stuff. But what happened was the wealthy made a beeline to private schools. And then the people who were left who could not go to private schools, there was some resentment. And I believe that resentment and anger is still present in our present day schools, even though we are integrated. And that's all I'm saying. And I do believe that with the hand me down stuff that our integrated schools did get, I just observed that my parents' generation were doctors and lawyers and all of that because it wasn't really the money. It was the people who were concerned about our well being. I'm here to say that everybody is not concerned about our well being. Now, there are some people who are really, but there are some people in the system that really have issues with Black and brown people. And I do believe that all of this stems from integration as well. So that's what I'm trying to say. Now, let me say this. Stump down, I don't care if he was born in 1942. I took a bus to an elementary school and passed two elementary schools, excuse me, on my way to get there. The school was in a predominantly white neighborhood in Florida. Because of integration, my Black ass was bused to that location. Okay? So you can say what you want. That's your experience. But you cannot take away my experience. I was bused past two elementary schools. We lived in a predominantly Black area. And I can tell you all of the Black people who went to school with me and they were bused. I went to a predominantly Black middle school. The only reason why it was integrated because the kids who lived on River Road, which was in our jurisdiction, had to go. But even in the midst of being integrated, they were still segregated in a sense because they had different classes, if you will. See, we don't want to talk about that. I had a friend who lived in Ohio, and she was saying, though, even though she went to school in Cleveland, she noticed that white kids had different lunches, they had different teachers. All they were doing is filling space to be around Black people, but not truly integrated with them. I just wanted to be clear because that happened. And yes, I am 54 years old, but that happened. So even at my predominantly Black school, white kids were bused to the middle school. But the only difference is they could participate in all of the activities because their parents had ways to get them back and forth to school. And then I went to a predominantly white school for high school. Well, hell, we weren't even bused. Our ass had to walk 3 to 4 miles to get to school. So again, you cannot speak on my experiences because you don't know them. And it would be better that you focus on your experiences. I don't know why all of this vitriol came about, but all I'm saying is at the end of the day, I was there. I know this because I was there. but I'm not even upset about that because everybody is different. Hold on for a minute, you all. Yeah, Rosewood did happen in Florida. It happened off by not too far from Cedar Key in Florida. Give me a minute, y'all. So I just wanted to say that, you all, because I think people really have a hard time, and I don't understand why he's so upset because I don't think we were even talking to him. Now, maybe you don't like Miss Olivia, but like I said, no one runs my platform except me. And I really don't have a problem with you, but please don't try to make a moment because you're talking about you don't know a place. Well, you don't live in Florida, A. Um, you don't know the redlining laws that Florida dealt with, B. And yeah, they were still integrating schools. So I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand why he's upset. But what happened happened. Now, all I'm gonna say is I voted blue and I did what I needed to do. Um, Integration, I went to integrated schools because I was forced to go. That was no ands if buts about that. I was forced to go. And so, yeah, and I'm not angry at all. But I just wanted to clarify that up. Now, somebody told me that I need to do verticals on YouTube, that my numbers are triple. So I'm gonna see what this vertical thing is about. It's gonna be on YouTube. So yes. But look, y'all, I'm not angry at people, but I just didn't understand why Stump Down was so angry because Olivia was on the platform and we're telling people to vote. That and then he went talking about integration and brown. I understand that. I understand that well. So I didn't need an extra lesson on that. I know it well, but I do think that there were some downsides, even though there were some benefits. And that's about it. I mean, but yeah. Olivia, I don't know what that was all about. I don't know what that was all about. I actually heard a little bit because sometimes it will come up on my feed, but I don't know what that was all about. So anyway, y'all, I'm gonna come back on, but I got some other things to do today. But I said I might as well make a little money. Come on here and make a little change on here. But I'm gonna tell people to vote. I don't care who says what. Vote is critical. Um, I'm going to say that I was bused because I was the child who had to take the bus to go to the predominantly white school. Notice, this I didn't say the school was segregated. It couldn't be segregated because we had to integrate it. That's why I was bused to the school, and that's why the white people were bused to my predominantly black school because they had to integrate that. So I don't understand what the problem is. They bust me, they bust them. Now, was the school predominantly black? No. Was it equal? No. It was still a few blacks, just enough to make people happy, but they had black folk there. And that happened in the state of Florida. So I don't know what's going on with these people, but I never knew that. Ain't it something else that education get people upset and telling people to vote get people upset? But yet talking about folk cheering and all of this people that don't, all of the foolish stuff don't get them mad, but things that we should do like vote and talk about things that happen to our people get folk upset. I don't understand that. I don't understand that they're more worried about Lemon and Krista and what Lemon feels than what is really worth focusing on: voting. We know what was getting ready to happen. Actually, some people do. Like people keep the mammy cookie jars, and I know people who collect that memorabilia because it just, for some people, it's painful. For some people, it's like, hey, I'm not forgetting this. I'm not forgetting how these people, for some people it is. So, I can't, really argue with people. Some people keep them. But again, our priorities are mixed up. This is one day I'm serious. This is a serious situation. Got some serious things going on. So, that's why I said what I said. And I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not trying to fight with anybody. But I do think that integration played a part. I was a part of it. Integration happened up until the 70s because I was a part of it. I was bust. Baby, I'm telling you, y'all be careful. That's why I did my early voting. That's why I went and voted early because I knew some stuff was going to happen, Hershey. Some say go vote early. I know, Victoria, and I don't know why we're doing that. I don't even know. I don't even know why we're doing that. Well, look, you all, I'm getting ready to log off. We will, we will continue this conversation. Yeah, baby, the devil is busy. You got one person. You know what? Though I don't have a problem with Brian doing that. At least he is telling the people. But my question is, did he vote? Did he vote? Now, with that said, I'll be back a little bit later on. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.